Are you wondering what exactly are macronutrients? Why do you count them? Why do people choose to follow that pattern of eating? What does macronutrients entail? How do you figure out what macros work for you? I want to talk about it. Let's jump into this. Here we go. Hey friends, welcome back. My name is Danielle and this is Daniela Diaries, and on Daniela Diaries we are inspiring to inspire you to be the very best version of yourself, whatever version that might be. Not saying to be like me or the best version that I have for myself, but to be the ultimate leveled up, high valued person that you truly are, to invest in yourself, to heal yourself from the inside out, to level up your life internally, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all the things. So if you're looking for a safe corner, somewhere where you are always welcome, that you will always have somebody to have your back, you have found it here in our little space in the internet, and I hope you would stick around and consider subscribing, because we love having new friends and we real friends around here, and you're more than welcome. So I would hope you would stick around and stay. And if you have been riding with me, thank you guys so much for sticking around, because you are a real one and I love you all so much. Today now, we're gonna talk about macros. So as most of you know, which, I feel like it's kind of been repeated, we are now on a completely different journey. And a lot of people have asked, how are you eating now? Well, what are you eating? How are you eating? And I'm just eating. I'm just eating. There's no science, there's no name, there's no group, there's no classification. Honey, I'm just eating. I'm eating. And the difference is, I guess, from eating and how I'm doing it is I am tracking my macros. Macros, macronutrients, that's what we're going to talk about today. So there is a lot of science behind macros, right? So if you're wondering what exactly are macronutrients, they're going to be broken up to three major things: your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fats. All of those things are what are going to make up your caloric intake, right? So, every piece of protein has like so many calories, and then every piece of, every item has a certain amount of protein in it, a certain amount of fat, and a certain amount of carbohydrates. And that's how they kind of collectively come together and make up what their nutritional facts are, right? So some people will choose to eat in a caloric deficit and not really mind what kind of macros they're eating. And some people, such as myself, are focusing more on the macros. Why do I focus on macronutrients instead of just a general calorie intake? Because I am eating for a specific reason. I am eating for fat loss and muscle gain. And I specifically break up my meals and break up those macros at specific times of the day during specific days of the week to feed my body. Food, essentially back in the beginning of time, food was just gasoline for the tank. It wasn't, as time has went on and culture and, lifestyles and stuff like that, it became more of an experience, more of a dining experience, more of a social experience, and kind of, turned into a lot more of a bigger thing. But essentially food is just that. It is to give your tank the gas to keep moving. So with my goals in mind, I have a certain amount of macros that I choose to eat for the day. And a lot of people will say, well, what are your calories? I don't really focus too much on what my calories are. I focus more on what my macros are. When I say this, let me explain. Yes, I am in a caloric deficit. For the first, I would say 8 weeks post keto, I was just kind of in a maintenance run, and I was actually more of a carb dominant with my eating, more or less to heal my metabolism from the long time of being super restricted, and to slowly reintroduce carbohydrates back into my body without going crazy. I did this for 8 weeks. And I was eating probably about 225, 230 grams of carbs per day, and my protein was less. I think it was like 150. I did this, like I said, to reacclimate my body with carbohydrates and to kind of heal my metabolism. Going from somebody who was doing, a total of maybe 30, 40 carbs a day, to that amount, you would assume that I would have probably gained a ton of weight, which I did not, which was amazing. I was really, really happy. But not everybody has that case. Some people might gain a little bit when they, you know, start reintroducing. So you do it slowly and you kind of pay attention to what carbs your body doesn't like. I can tell you right off the bat, I didn't have an issue with any carbs. I didn't see any bloating or anything like that. I was completely fine. Now that I've passed that and I've maintained and I could see, okay, what I can do, I am now entering a mini cut. Just kind of following a mini cut basically is what I'm doing. So I have some carbs. I have my macros all figured out for me for myself. So the thing is with macros, which I think is more superior than a caloric deficit, and I'm going to tell you why. Why do I think it is a better idea, more beneficial, more therapeutic? Why do I feel like you would probably eat more when following macros? Is because it takes into so many things into consideration. I will leave some sites down below that you can go ahead and follow. I'll give you some that you can pay for, some that are free. For example, you can follow, and there's some YouTube channels too. I want to talk to you about a couple things that you can follow. There is a YouTuber here on YouTube, since you're already here, and she goes on, her name is Sophie, and she goes under Gains by Brains. She has a free workout regimen that you can follow, that you can do from home or for the gym. It's completely free. So if this is something that you're recently venturing into, maybe you don't want or don't have, considering how crazy these last few years have been, that you don't want to make this initial investment into anything because you don't know if you're going to stick to it, I suggest doing that. I don't think you guys should pay for a macro calculator right now if you don't know if you're going to stick with it, because how many apps have you bought, Weight Watchers, whatever, and you're like, you know what, this isn't working, and you've already wasted money. I want to give you this advice for free, and I want you to try it out for free. There'd be no money lost. Essentially, the only thing you would lose would be time, just as an experiment, right? So, and I even have my own mother doing this, so trust me, okay? Gains by Brains, her name is Sophie, and she's amazing. She's absolutely stunning, and I just love her. She makes the best aesthetic videos. She does a free workout every Sunday. She'll send you out with a free workout thing where you can do it at home or at the gym. She also has a macro calculator on there. And what I like about her macro calculator is that it's either for loss, maintenance, or recomp. Now, when I was doing the higher carbs and I was trying to heal my metabolism, I was also going for a recomp look. Recomp basically is staying the same weight, just recomposition of where your fat is. So, you know, like my mom, she'll see me now compared to where I was like at Christmas, and she's like, oh my God, what did you lose, 20 pounds? And I'm like, I haven't lost any weight. No, your midsection's smaller, your arms are bigger, your legs are leaner. Body recomp. So if necessarily, for myself, I've kind of gotten away from like chasing a number on the scale, whereas I was looking for, you know, being healthy, being content, and being strong. You know, I've been down, I've been way smaller than what I am now, and I have been in a bigger size pants. Like I'm about, like what I say, about 175. I'm about between 175, 180 on the daily, depends. You know, and I'm a size 12. I've been 165 pounds and been a size 14 and just been really soft. So it doesn't necessarily mean that by sizing your pants you're going to be, you know, or a size on the scale, you're going to be a size smaller. Fat loss is what people see. Fat loss is inches. If you lose 5 pounds or 5 inches, what do you think people are going to see? You can lose 5 pounds by sitting on the toilet for a little bit. Not to be graphic, but it's true. 5 inches on your waist, that's a size in pants. That's a flat tummy. That's a snatch waist. 5 inches on your arms and you got a muscle, like you're defined. 5 inches on the booty, honey, and you're popping. So inches over pounds any day. How do you achieve that? Weightlifting. And I'm not saying you have to be a monster, and I'm not telling you to go, you know, bench press 300 pounds. Absolutely not. But if you're going to do light weights, you need to do a lot of reps. If you're going to do heavy weights, then you can lessen the reps, okay? That's another message for another day. So if you're looking for workout programs to start, I definitely recommend Sophie's programs because they are free, and she makes them for she makes them for beginners, and she has it for the gym and for home. So I really like Sophie. I think you guys would really enjoy her. And again, you're already on YouTube, so you can watch her. Another person that I find for myself to be extremely motivating and informative is Julia RENE. She is an IFBB pro. She is getting ready to complete an Olympia. I mean, she's doing the wellness category, which is kind of what I am, you know, striving to eventually be. And I find her to be super informative, and she's really realistic on, you know, the truth behind all of this stuff. And, you know, I think a lot of people have a really bad misconception of what they think a woman who lifts weights looks like. And like I've said this before, and she is very muscular because she's a pro and she's in cut season, she's training, so she does look a little bit more defined, but in off season, she's just in really great shape. And there's a couple other sites that you can check into that are for free as well. One of them is If It Fits Your Macros, IIFYM. There's a little bit of controversy with the If It Fits Your Macros thing, because it's basically you can eat whatever you want as long as it fits your macros. So that's where you'll see people having like the Rice Krispie treats or Pop-Tarts or McDonald's because they make it fit their macros for the day. You can do that too, and people see the results, and there's that. Another one is called Barbells and Babies, or After Babies. I was looking at her site today, and she does give a little bit more of a scientific breakdown, and she shows you the math to it, where you can do your own math, which I do like, but it could be confusing. So I mentioned this before, and when you're calculating your macros, it's not just taking into consideration how old you are, how tall you are. This is taking into consideration you know, how old you are, how tall you are, how much you want to weigh, how much do you want to weigh, what is your activity level. They take your TDEE into consideration, and they'll say, do you want to be a recomp? Do you want to do, you know, fat loss? Do you want to do gaining? And they will figure that out to you, and they figure out your macros. They will also ask, what kind of way do you want to follow? Do you want to follow a high protein, a low protein, a high carb? So if you were somebody who said, hey, you know what, I still want to keep a low carb, you can choose to have your macros in a low carb way. Okay, so you could still keep them rather low. So for me, now that I'm in my mini cut, I don't even have my phone on me. When I'm in my mini cut right now, I have my total calories are about 850. Let me get my phone. All right, so I track everything off of my FitnessPal. I highly recommend my FitnessPal over like Carb Manager and stuff like that, for the reason that it has a bigger search engine. That's basically the reason. So every day when I wake up in the morning, because I meal prep, so I already know what I have cooked in my refrigerator, I will sit down and in the morning before I even get out of bed, and I track what I want to eat that day. Just so there's no way for error, and I'm not like panic eating because I'm starving and I waited. I already know, all right, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I have 2 snacks already set up, okay? So today, for example, I have a grand total of 1865 total calories. That's my goal. I'm only going to come in about 1,783. When you're counting your macros, you are not going to give yourself more calories for working out. You know how like they'll say, oh, you get an extra 30, 40, 100 calories because you worked out. That's already included in your macros, so you're not going to do that, okay? So I've already calculated everything. I'm going to come in about 100 calories short. That's okay, because I'm not so much worried as for my calories. I try to come in around no more than 100 over and no more than 100 under. Just because I was more concerned about hitting my macros, right? So I have a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner, and 2 snacks, all right? Which is good. That's 5 meals, right? My goal every day is to hit a protein of 184 grams. I got to keep my carbs at 142 and my fats at 63. While I'm eating, so this full day of eating that you're going to see, I've recorded it. I'm actually recording it today. So if you're wondering how this day of eating looks, come back tomorrow, which is Thursday, and you will see how all these macros take into place. It doesn't sound like it's a lot, but when you see it plated up and you see what I'm eating, you're gonna be like, dang, she's always eating, and she's eating some good meals. Absolutely. So my macros, so I always go through, and I'm just gonna kind of show you. For my breakfast is about 451 calories, lunch is 470 calories, dinner is 443 calories. I usually have, you know, between 5 to 7 ounces of protein with every meal. So because I'm having so much protein is a priority for me. Why is protein a priority for me? Because I am weightlifting and I am lifting heavy weights and I have to repair my muscles. So protein is going to help build and repair muscles. Carbohydrates are going to give me the energy to work out, and fats are going to be kind of the swinger for your hormones and stuff like that. So with me, I always have, every meal is always going to have a protein source. Whether for breakfast, it's a protein pancakes with some egg whites. For lunch, whether it's like a steak wrap and some tortilla, you know, cottage cheese, or, you know, there's always, I always get a good amount of protein. Now, is it hard to hit that protein? It can be. It absolutely can be. And if you're coming from more of a restricted eating and all foods are open to you, this can be overwhelming. You know, I've had to explain to my mom, because my mom's been working out so good, guys. She's doing so good, but she's gaining weight, and she was following a keto diet, and she's like, Danielle, I'm gaining weight and I'm working out, I'm lifting, what am I doing? And she has this idea where, and I had it too, oh, well, I'm gaining muscle, that's why I'm gaining weight. And I was like, Mom, that's not what it is. You're gaining weight. Well, why? I said, well, tell me, what are we eating? Let's sit down, let's track. My mom was eating like bacon as a snack. And when I say bacon, my mom's eating like a half a pound of bacon every day as a snack. She's eating, you know, steak. She's having, you know, a bunch of steak, a bunch of meat and everything like that, but it's so high in calories and cheeses and stuff like that. She's in a surplus. That's why she's gaining. So even though no matter what way you're trying to follow, you're gonna have to be in some kind of deficit, guys. Whatever it is, if you're eating, I don't care if there's zero, if you're eating zero carbs. Like my mom was eating only like 7 or 8 carbs a day, but she was eating 2,000-3,000 calories a day, and she's 5'2". So it's just too much, okay? With counting your macros is you're watching food groups and you're using them as a purpose. I use my food as a purpose, as a means to an end, right? I'm using my carbohydrates on specific days at specific times. A big bulk of my carbs, out of those 150 carbs, half of them I eat before I hit the gym, because I'm using those carbs as energy to help me power through and to be strong and to really get a really good workout and hit some new PRs. I use my protein as a way to help repair and feed those muscles that I've been breaking down, to help them repair and to grow. And then again, with the fat comes in, it's not a lot of fat, but it's enough to regulate my hormones and keep my system function normally. So each group of food has a purpose. Nothing is good, nothing is bad. Everything has a reason, and it has to be consumed in moderation. In moderation. So everything is open to you. You just got to have it in moderation. So when I tell you to, you know, you don't necessarily, if you're not working out, you know, lifting weights, do I suggest you doing your macros? No. Because these are more or less for the reason of, for people who are strength training. You know, if you're just kind of like surfing the couch, I would not recommend counting your macros. I would recommend just kind of doing a caloric deficit and just kind of watching it that way, and doing like the standard, you know, if you want to do keto, whatever, but in a calorie deficit, and then finding that probably through my MyFitnessPal Carb Manager or whatever. You will notice that you're going to get a larger amount of calories and stuff like that, and it's going to be shocking. When I seen that they wanted me to eat, you know, almost 1,900 calories a day, I was like, what? I'm gonna get big, I'm gonna gain all this weight, all them carbs, I'm gonna get, and I literally was crying eating them, because I even told Leo, like, I'm gonna get so big and they're all gonna be right and they're gonna watch me fail. And truth is I'm doing great. I'm thriving. I'm not hungry. I'm very satisfied. I mean, I'm good. I'm blessed, guys. You know, I feel like this is amazing. But also, like I said, I could eat like this because I work out the way I do. Now, I'm not saying that I'm using these macros and filling them with garbage, you know, where, you know, you'll see people having a Snickers and making it fit their macros. Could I do that? Yes. I might do it on a day when I want a Snickers. Absolutely. Absolutely. But if I'm going to have that Snickers, you better believe I'm going to have it at like 7 o'clock in the morning so I can use that energy at the gym. You know, but the thing is I could though. I could. Nothing is restricted for me. I can make anything fit. But I am choosing to eat more nutritional food and making sure I'm getting the proper nutrients and stuff like that. So you can do anything clean or dirty if you want to. It's just, you know, however you're setting yourself up. And, you know, my body just feels better when I eat, you know, more nutritional dense food, which is like anybody. But if I wanted a Snickers or a Rice Krispies or a Kit Kat or Domino's, whatever it is, I could make it fit. Also, I am still allowed 1 meal a week to kind of eat what I want. I track that whole day and I'll have like a meal, whether it be a for example, for my birthday, we had pizza. I had my pizza, I had like 3 pieces, and that was it. Like, it wasn't, I guess maybe because I could have it and it wasn't like a big dirty secret and like I was going off the chain. It was just, I had the pizza, I ate, I was full, and then I was done. It was fine. It's taken me a long time to get there. A long time, a lot of therapy and a lot of self-reflection and a lot of, you got this, Danielle, you're not what you eat. You're not, your food does not define you, and you can get there. It's just, you have to the thing is, I think I prefer macro counting to anything else is because each division of food, carbs, proteins, fats are all required and nothing is vilified and everything is good. There's no good or bad. So you're forcing yourself to reacclimate yourself and become friends with breads and, you know, fruits and vegetables and, you know, starchy things where before you were like, oh my God, you know, at least for me, that's how it was. And it's also, you know, reflecting on me that like, you can't go ham on the cheese because that's full of fat and it's super high in calories. So that's something I have to pull away from. Whereas before, you know, fats were our best friends. So I have to like, you know, kind of, you know, take a little break away from some of those and reacclimate and become friends with these people again. So it's a learning curve, but it's really exciting, and it's really exciting to start cooking again. It's exciting to eat again because you're like, oh my God, I could eat this. Like today, like you'll see in tomorrow's full day of eating, like I had a cheeseburger and it was delicious. And like, I didn't feel guilty and it was completely on plan. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I feel strong. I feel really strong because food essentially, and I know everybody uses it, like especially with families and cultures and stuff like that. It's a experience, you know. But essentially, you know, on the day in and day out, you know, of life, you're not having an elite dining experience every day. Okay, you are, you know, getting through life, doing the things, you know, and feeding to go. And, you know, you could still have your moments and do whatever, you know, but it's not an everyday, you know, exquisite dining, you know. And I feel really good. And I feel that my joints feel better. My body feels good. I feel like my skin looks good and I'm sleeping good. And it's all coming full circle. So it can be done. You know, so like I said, when I'm having my carbs, I'm having them, especially on my workout days, at specific times for specific reasons. And nothing is good, nothing is bad. And I really think that a lot of people are confused by what exactly a macro is. Like I said, proteins, carbs, and fats. Everybody per your goal, especially, and again, you really should not follow macros if you are not strength training. If you are just maybe doing a couple sessions of walking and stuff like that, I don't think this is for you. This is not going to benefit you really. This is more for people who are trying to build muscle and stuff like that. If you were starting even if you do any resistance training, I think macros would really help for you because you could still get pretty lean with it. But if you're doing, you know, if you're not working out at all or doing barely any cardio, or just doing cardio, I don't think this is going to be the way for you. but a caloric deficit would be definitely beneficial to you so you are not overeating. And I still definitely recommend tracking your food, getting the scale, you know, and I try to explain this to my mom as well. If you're working out and you're not seeing anything and you're working out hard, I mean, you're truly working out and you're like, look, I don't see any results, then it's your eating. It's your nutrition. Any type of weight loss, weight gain, fat loss, really, if you're putting in the work in the gym and you're not seeing any results, then it's your nutrition. 80% of any type of transformation when it comes as far as your body is based on nutrition. So if you're not seeing any results, check your nutrition. And, you know, because I feel like some people get lax and they're not watching the creamer in their coffee, they're eyeballing their proteins, you know, they're picking as they're eating, so they're getting, you know, they're snacking as they're going, or, you know, they're just, it's you become comfortable, you become thinking you know more than what you do, and you just keep going because you're like, oh, that looks about 4 ounces, right? Yeah, that looks good. Or you're eating out a lot, you're getting a lot of drinks to go. Those drinks will add up, guys. Try to make all your drinks at home, or get them all plain and fix them yourself in the car, because I love my baristas, but you guys can't be trusted because sometimes they're a little heavy-handed and you're not like, hey, can I have 2 tablespoons of half and half, please? They're like, get the hell out of here. You know? Hopefully this kind of gave you guys some ideas on what to do. Again, I'm gonna leave everybody down below. Definitely, if you're getting ready to start, don't waste your money if you're not sure if you're going to be ready to stick with this. I will leave links for all these resources down below that I think will be super beneficial to you guys, and I think you guys would really enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Come back tomorrow for another full day of eating so you guys can kind of see how this is all playing out. I love you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.